Welcome to Is It Real News. Gone for a few weeks, had some mechanical equipment problem. Things wasn't working well, but finally got stuff fixed. Again, we're doing this from bottom to top. A lot of mistakes going to be made. Words going to be mispronounced or not enunciated properly. But I guarantee you, as we go through the steps and progress through this, everything's going to get better. The quality, going to be able to bring a more professional quality of information to you. So please be patient for those who viewing this. Again, it's easy to find negative things to talk about. We're a very negative society. Things don't rise to the top till after you hit the bottom in this country. Other country as well, but this is America, and this is where I live. And for those who viewing this, most of you, this is where you live. But we are a negative-driven society. I say again, if you take all the negative things out of news, you probably won't have news. Okay, the death, the rape, the murders, and all these things that are associated with the tragedies and the mishaps, child pornography, child molestation. I mean, go on and on. And if you take this stuff out of the news that they broadcast over the media, over television, you will probably wouldn't have 5 minutes of news. So we are a negative-driven society. Even when things are not wrong, we find some way to make it wrong. It could have been worse if this had happened. And we create tragedy scenarios when we don't have enough negative things to say about a tragedy situation. That's where the news is. All right. Just a few things regarding our federal government. I think the federal government wastes a lot of time involving things that they shouldn't be involved in. And one of the things was the thing about the steroids, professional baseball players and football players, and I guess they do it with golf and everything else. Let me tell you something. If you get caught using illegal drugs on your job, you will be fired. Plain and simple. If you violate the company drug policy, you will be fired. You don't need a congressional hearing. You're fired. Plain and simple. Our federal government should be wasting taxpayer time or money involved in private companies that make millions of dollars. No different than any other citizen in this country. If you get caught using illegal drugs, violating your company drug policy, you're fired. Plain and simple. You don't need a congressional hearing for that, because I guarantee you won't be one for you. If you get caught violating your company drug policy, there will be no congressional hearing on your part. Okay? Federal government not going to waste money on you. Guarantee it. Advertising. I think advertising, when they have the small print, that our federal government should make sure when you're advertising something over network, over television, that the small print should be no less than a half size of the main print. So you can see and get opportunity to see what the small print is saying to save you probably time and money. So, it's just ridiculous how small the fine print, I guess that's why they call it fine print, but yet the main printing is humongous. So I think they should make sure that the smallest print should be no smaller than half size of the main print when you're advertising something on television. Next thing, hotels. I think it's unfair for hotels to raise their prices when you're in a tragedy, emergency situation. I think our federal government should do something about that instead of wasting time and money and effort with private companies that make millions of dollars. That when you're caught in a snowstorm, a blizzard, a hurricane, or a tornado, hotels double their prices. Raise their prices anything from 30 to 60%. Taking advantage of you as a customer. I think our federal government should do something and prevent price gouging in regard to what the political definition might be. I think our federal government should do something. Make sure hotels don't take advantage of people when there's inclement weather, something beyond their control. I'm not talking about the engine blew up. I'm not talking about flat tires. I'm talking about when Mother Nature intervened. and inhibit you from going forward, and you caught that you got a mother with small kids, and it's ridiculous how hotels raise their prices. I hope you remember some of these hotels when things are going good and avoid them. Send a strong message to the hotels that you don't appreciate that they taking advantage of you in an emergency situation. This is unfair. And our fellow government should say something about this, do something about this, as well as we as customers should send a very strong message to all of the hotels that take advantage of customers when they're in an emergency situation. Think about it. Is it real news? Diplomatic immunity. I don't even know why this exists. I think it's unfair. If you go to a foreign country and you break the law, you should be prosecuted to the full extent of the laws of that country. I think it's unfair for anyone, in regards to what your status might be. I don't care if you're the president of the United States of America. If you go to a foreign country and break their law, you should be prosecuted. Why you have diplomatic immunity in place? It's a slap in the face to the citizens of this country. Because truly, if we break the law in this country, we're prosecuted. If some foreign dignitary break the law in this country, he or she gotta get out of jail free card. Excuse me. Get out of jail free card because they are protected under diplomatic immunity. Again, it don't make sense to me. Why would a foreign dignitary go to a foreign country, break the laws in that country, and then not want to be prosecuted? Okay? Diplomatic immunity is a slap in the face to every citizen in this country. Trust me, if you go to a foreign country and you break the law, you should be prosecuted like anyone else. I don't care what your title, what your position with the government, federal government, I don't care. You break the law, you should be prosecuted. Diplomatic immunity, I don't get it. Especially at that level, you should definitely not need diplomatic immunity for a foreign dignitary, because why would you put yourself in a position to break the law visiting a foreign country when the citizens of that country don't get that? I don't get it, don't understand it. Next thing, racism. I think it's unfair for anyone to be judged whether or not they can use a word such as the N-word based upon the color of their skin. I think this is unfair. I saw, I can't think of the gentleman, his name is Owens. He's on the show with Shaq. And he did a show, and he brought out an African American standing next to him because he couldn't use the N-word. And he had the African American standing right next to him using the N-word on his behalf. Let me tell you something. If you are making a decision whether or not someone can or cannot say something totally based upon the color of their skin, that's racism. That's discrimination. And you individuals that's sitting in the audience somehow put a stamp of approval on Cat Williams and other comedians to use the N-word, but yet Mr. Orange got to use an African American to use the N-word on his behalf. That's still racism, people. If your judgment for someone is totally based upon the color of their skin, your decision regarding what they can say or cannot say is based upon the color of their skin, then that's racism. And we really need to consider that. We really need to think about that. We have not, let me say this, we are not overcoming. Let me put it like that. Let me phrase it like that. We have made a lot of things better in this country. But it seems like we're turning back the hands of time, people. There's nothing funny about that. That if this person can't say it and that person can say it, and that's based upon the color of their skin, that's racism. One of my mentors said one time, someday when little white boys and little white girls walk together, and they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their heart. Have we forgot about that? And then when it come down to a ceremony for Martin Luther King, other African Americans who have paved the way, these same individuals want to be on the stage, want to be sitting in the chief seat. And 20 minutes later, when they go do a show or something, they use the N-word like a dripping faucet. But yet, the person coming on the stage can't use it simply because of the color of their skin. This is still racism, America. It is discrimination. And we need to really evaluate this and look at this. Is it true or not? If I determine you can't say something or do something or go somewhere totally based upon the color of your skin, is it racism? If you say it's okay, I can use the word because of the color of my skin, and this person to my left or to my right can't use it because of the color of their skin, then that is racism. And you should not support anything that involves racism in this country. Is it real news? Remember, do good to life, and life will do good. It will be good to you. One of the things I'm going to correct as I get better. Remember, the words you use throughout your day will have an effect upon you at the end of your day. Continue, I plead with you. Continue to find a way to make life better for you and those around you. And I guarantee you, good things will gravitate to you. The words you use throughout your day will have an effect upon you at the end of your day. God bless. Out of here. Is it real news?